You've heard the story a million times, right? We're constantly being told to fear the rise of some new, powerful intelligence. But what if that whole story is, well, wrong? What if the key to understanding our future with AI isn't about silicon and code, but about something way more familiar, something we've been dealing with for millennia? Let's take a look. Okay, let's try something a little different here. I'm going to describe a new kind of intelligence that's causing a lot of anxiety right now. And as I go through it, I want you to try and guess what I'm talking about. So, first up, what are they made of? Well, they're basically just physical systems. They're built from different components that are all just following the predictable laws of physics. And everything they do, it's all driven by electrical signals. Okay, now what about how they think? Well, they have incredibly high IQs. They're amazing problem solvers. And yet, they're also notoriously unreliable. They make things up, they make pretty basic mistakes, and honestly, you can't always trust what they say. And get this, they are absolutely capable of learning our values. They can learn what we want and how to please us. But their behavior can be, well, unpredictable. Out of nowhere, they can suddenly just reject everything we've taught them and develop totally new goals, all on their own. And here's the big one. Their very existence is going to fundamentally change our world. And let's be crystal clear about this. On both a personal level and a societal one, they are absolutely 100% destined to replace us. So, what do you think? What is this terrifying new intelligence I'm talking about? Is it some kind of super advanced AI, a large language model that's finally gone rogue? What's your guess? The answer is human children. Yeah, you heard me right. Every single one of those existential fears, all that anxiety we pour into AI, it perfectly describes the totally familiar biological process of raising the next generation. This isn't some new sci-fi story, it's the oldest story there is. So, that little twist, it kind of forces us to look at this whole AI debate completely differently, right? By looking at ourselves in the biological mirror, we might just find a much more useful way to think about what's coming. You see, the really crucial point here is that our current panic isn't really about the technology. It's about creation, it's about identity, and it's about that fear of losing control. These are timeless questions that biology has always forced us to deal with. Now, to really get this, we've got to ditch these old school buckets of natural versus artificial. We need to start seeing intelligence for what it is, a vast, continuous spectrum. And this is where a really cool idea called diverse intelligence comes into play. It's the idea that we should be studying cognition in all its forms, whether it's in cells, slime molds, plants, or silicon, to understand the basic principles of what a mind even is, no matter what it's made of. It's not about us versus them. It's about a spectrum of being. I mean, just think about our own origin story for a second. Every single one of us started as a single cell, just a blob of chemistry and physics. Then, through this slow, gradual process, a mind emerges. There's no single magic spark, no moment of enchantment. It's just a continuous journey from simple matter to complex mind. And this is where the parallels just become so obvious. We freak out that AI is just a machine made of parts. Well, guess what? So are we. We're collective intelligences made of trillions of tiny cellular parts. We worry that AI isn't truly embodied, but our own minds are deeply embedded in these complex social and physiological worlds. And that ultimate fear, the fear of being supplanted, that's just the story of evolution. It's the story of family. So, when you reframe it like this, you start to realize that our current debate over chatbots is, well, it's a distraction. It's keeping us from seeing the much bigger reality that's just around the corner. See, the real challenge isn't just about software. It's this coming wave of beings that are going to blur every single line we thought existed. We're talking about cyborgs, hybrids of biological and tech parts, biobots, even composite minds made of humans and AIs working together. Today's AI is just the very first step. And you know what? That's why our current, confusing, sometimes frustrating interactions with AI are actually a gift. They're a low-stakes practice run. They are a training sandbox for the much, much harder ethical conversations we are going to have when these truly new kinds of beings show up. So the goal here isn't to build bigger walls or hit the brakes. It's to figure out something called symbiosis. How do we create a flourishing, thriving relationship between all these different kinds of living and engineered forms? It's about creating something new and beneficial, not just desperately defending what's old. All this fear about being replaced, it really forces us to ask a much more fundamental question. What exactly is this we that we're so terrified of losing? Think about a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. It literally dissolves itself into goo and rebuilds from scratch. Its body changes, its brain changes, everything changes. It doesn't cease to exist, it transforms. Maybe we should see ourselves the same way, not as some static finished product, but as a process of continuous radical change. So, if we are a process, then what's truly essential? Is it our DNA? Is it having 5 fingers on each hand? Or is it something deeper? What is the one part of humanity that is so valuable, so critical, that it absolutely must be carried into the future, no matter what form it takes? This just flips the whole script, doesn't it? The question shouldn't be, how do we stop ourselves from being replaced? It should be, what kind of beings actually deserve to inherit the future? What qualities do we want the future inhabitants of this world, whatever they look like, to have? And that leaves us with this final, powerful thought. If whatever comes next is more intelligent, more creative, and, most importantly, has a vastly wider circle of compassion than we do, what better outcome could we possibly hope for? That's not being replaced. That's leaving a legacy.